Today we are looking at the Toucan 1080p video conference system 360, which has an omnidirectional microphone. This is designed for conference style meetings.
Greetings, my name is Revd Mark and I am the District Digital Church Enabler for the Yorkshire West District. Today I just want to show you a couple of cameras that will hopefully help various church situations. The first one is for those kind of hybrid sort of meetings where we are sat around in a church meeting, where possibly around a table. That would be the best place, where you've got people who are on Zoom as well as in the room, and this piece of kit is there to kind of help bring everybody onto a kind of a level playing field, to be able to hear people clearly and not cause any feedback issues with those at home or in the main room. So first of all, this is a Toucan conference camera, and the best thing about this is that it's a 360 degree camera. It actually has a lens cap on at the moment, so I'm just going to take this off and it will reveal 4 cameras, and that is just to keep it safe in transit and otherwise things like that. But you have to plug it in, just like any kind of webcam or anything like that. There is obviously a on and off button, and it should make a noise and light up. There we go. And it says, look, your default camera has changed, so this is going to take me off the screen momentarily, if it will come up. Yeah, there we go. It just takes a moment to configure, and suddenly we have been given this 360 degree angle, so we can see everything all the way around us. It is basically working on 4 fisheye lenses, and when you go from one place to another, can you just see there is a slight overlap where one goes to the other, but you can obviously just you can just spin that around, and yeah, it will enable you to kind of see everybody all around. This is just one of the settings, so I hope already you can see that if you have several people sat all around, you'll be able to see them and hear them from wherever you are, and as long as they have access in the room to see the Zoom screen, then that should be all right. We have one button to show you on here, that there is a button on here with, it's just a little person within a little TV screen, and this is the main button that you need to press in case if you need to change any settings. So if you press it once, you'll see that it's flicking through. It's actually standardizing to who is speaking the most, and it's a little bit confused. I think maybe that it's coming through the speaker or otherwise. It's rebounding off the echoing off the window, so it's not perfect, but I hope you can see that in a room it would be able to pick up people. It may be not be best for a broadcast such as kind of a service setting, because if anyone starts coughing, like, it will then focus on them instead. But for example, there is a slight tweaking there that just is easier to focus on one thing rather than another. But you can also just toggle again, and it will give you the 4 cameras. And so if you've got, ideally 4 people sat around a room, or a couple of people huddled around each of the cameras, then everyone will be seen as well. So this is much more of a traditional view of a Zoom camera, but it's just all 4 cameras are in the room. And then if you press it again, you then have a mixture of those people who are talking, as well as you get a 360 around the top, and I think that's quite a nice one. So rather than seeing it constantly changing all the time, what you get is up in the top level the reassurance of the room that you are talking into, as well as the active speaker down here, and this is all contained within the one camera. And I think this is kind of really helpful for those who want to be able to kind of invest in hybrid meetings, but don't know the tech as well. You do have to make sure that your settings are all set correctly. So already I mentioned that you've got to select the Toucan camera for the camera, but then you also have to make sure that you are selecting the right speakers as well. This has been used before, and it automatically defaults to the Toucan once it is connected. So you may just need to spend a few moments to set that up. But this is £425 thereabouts. It is an expensive piece of kit, but in relation to what you get out of it, it is actually cheaper than some of the the more well-known brands out there. But this is on Amazon at £425, and it gives us the opportunity to have a sturdy, trustworthy kind of, reliable kind of conference style experience. So this is the first camera.
The next camera is the Tongvio HDMI PTZ camera 20x optical zoom.
The second piece of kit I would like to share with you today is yet another camera, and this is a PTZ camera, and that stands for pan tilt zoom camera, and this is like a electronic, it's actually remote controlled camera which you can use, and this is designed more for a broadcast style thing. This would be set at the back of church, kind of far away, so it doesn't inconvenience the person in the pew, but it is going to be set out of the way. This actual piece of kit does actually come with a wall bracket that you can kind of mount it to high up on the side sort of thing, but this is designed for kind of zooming in and being a camera that you can maybe focus in on someone doing communion or someone preaching. I would say that if you rely on this all the time, you've just got to be careful of how it zooms from one place to another or pans cross from one thing to another, because if you are relying on it as just one singular camera and the camera's moving from one place to another, it can get a little bit disorientating. So I would often sort of suggest that actually if you get one of these expensive cameras as they are, this one is £469, again from Amazon, what I would suggest is that you maybe kind of also have like a cheaper default webcam that can just kind of be a generalized shot, so that you can kind of flick between a normal congregational view, GDPR and safeguarding depending, to a close-up view, rather than watching this camera go through its system. I will say that this is slightly more expensive than the base model, because this also has a HDMI out, and that has been selected so that we could use this with a visual mixing desk and kind of different settings. So you can just get one that is USB kind of based. This is USB and HDMI. This also has various other kind of settings as well, so you could use a joystick if you wish, but we're just going to use a remote control today. So this comes in quite a padded box, because you've got to protect the motors and the lens. It actually has a little lens cap on as well, which you've got to take off before you turn it on, and I'm just going to plug it in, and you'll see immediately it comes to life, and so it spins around like this. And basically what this is doing is checking all the motors to make sure that it's all working, and then it will kind of default facing the other way. And then I'll set it up just like any other webcam. I'm just going to so you've heard the little beeps, which means it's been recognized. It's called a UVC camera on here, and there we go. So I'm no longer on the screen, but you can spin it around using the remote control. And so here I am. Hello again. And so basically this camera enables you to zoom in from quite far away, and you can also kind of create presets. So if it is in a standard location all the time, then you can kind of say actually press number 1 and it will zoom in, because it will also control, the preset will also control the zoom and the focus as well. So you can say okay, so pulpit is number 1, the communion table is number 2, a lectern is number 3, or general kind of ambience of the room, you know, kind of as far back as you can kind of get it sort of thing, will be kind of number 4, and so you can easily press it. The only thing, as I said earlier, is that you just could be aware of what the viewer, what the person at home is seeing, and if they're seeing all that camera movement, then it could be a little bit unsettling. So to have like another camera that you can just kind of flick to whilst you kind of set up the camera into the next location may be better. But if you're hardly moving it, then people kind of taking part at home may be forgiving once, twice, you know, but if it's very, very regular, then it will actually be really quite unsettling for folks. But this is, it's quite helpful. It's like if you've got one person on the computer, they don't have to be immediately next to this camera, and they can kind of use this. And they have basically like a camera person all on the end of a remote control. And so you can just see, I'm going to focusing on our slightly mossy garage roof, but that's not even all of the focus. You can zoom in even further still, and that will zoom in. Lovely moss there. But I hope you can see, and if I can find some footage of this actually in use, but yeah, this is quite a helpful kind of camera to have when you are wanting to broadcast or stream from the back of church. And as I say, this is about £470, and yeah, I can definitely see that some churches may want these in an installed place, but they could be of use around a circuit if you're kind of moving from one place to another, because this actually also can fit on a tripod as well, so that's quite helpful. But it is a little bit kind of top heavy. You've got to be a little bit careful of it. So this is quite a kind of helpful thing again for broadcasting, for streaming, and in an ideal place I'd have maybe a secondary camera or webcam just to kind of jack and jill between the two.
Please note the PTZ camera doesn't have its own microphone. I tend to take an audio feed from the PA system and into the streaming computer.
So I hope that has been helpful today, and please be in touch if these videos have been of some assistance. Thank you.